Margaret, an American living in Tokyo, navigating a tumultuous journey of self-destruction, forbidden love, and eventual rebirth. By day, Margaret works at a Japanese academy, training aspiring flight attendants in English. By night, she drowns her loneliness and inner turmoil in alcohol and fleeting sexual encounters at Tokyo's infamous love hotels. Her reckless behavior often leaves her disheveled and distracted at work, drawing the concern of her manager, Nakamura, who sympathizes with Margaret despite her flaws. Margaret's routine of self-destruction takes a sharp turn when she meets Kazu, a reserved yet intense Yakuza enforcer. Their connection is instant, and a passionate relationship begins. However, Margaret soon learns that Kazu is engaged to be married, a revelation that rattles her. Despite her misgivings, Kazu explains that his marriage is a matter of duty, not love, and Margaret chooses to continue the affair. In their time together, Margaret opens up about her troubled past. She reveals her fractured family history, a father who abandoned her, a mother lost to cancer, and a brother battling schizophrenia. She admits that she moved to Japan to escape her pain and live in isolation. Kazu, sensing Margaret's deep emotional scars, takes her on a meaningful trip to Kyoto. He leads her to the Kayamizadera temple, specifically to the Buddha's womb, a dark tunnel symbolizing rebirth. His hope is to help Margaret confront her trauma and start anew. However, the experience leaves Margaret largely unaffected. On the train ride back to Tokyo, Kazu quietly slips away while Margaret is asleep, leaving her heartbroken. When she returns to work the next day, she discovers that she has been fired from her teaching position. Her friend Ines also announces her departure from Japan, adding to Margaret's feelings of abandonment. Spiraling deeper into despair, Margaret fills her days with meaningless encounters, but her hollow existence only worsens her sense of loss. One day, Margaret spots Kazu with his family and impulsively follows him to a love hotel. Confronting him, she professes her love, leading to one final, bittersweet encounter. Afterward, Kazu firmly tells her they cannot be together, leaving her devastated. Returning to her apartment, Margaret finds an eviction notice. Desperate for survival, she accepts a degrading job as a bar hostess, but her inability to cope forces her to walk away without payment. Now homeless and at her lowest point, Margaret encounters Louise, the girlfriend of her expatriate friend Liam, who reveals that Liam has been deported. Sharing a drink with Louise, Margaret reflects on her crumbling life. Drunk and aimless, she wanders the streets of Tokyo until a strange man begins following her. In a reckless act of surrender, she invites him to a love hotel and submits to his commands. When the man ties her to the bed and threatens her life, Margaret pleads for him to follow through. However, Kazu suddenly arrives to rescue her, having tracked her down. Grateful for his intervention, Margaret finally finds clarity. She decides to leave Tokyo and start over. Boarding a plane to a new destination, she notices Tomiko, one of her former students, working as a flight attendant. The two share a brief smile, symbolizing a glimmer of hope and connection. In a final moment of closure, Margaret calls Kazu, expressing her newfound understanding of the Buddha's womb and its meaning. She thanks him for helping her find a sense of rebirth and says goodbye for good as she embarks on a new chapter in her life.